From its intricate social reforms to its human rights concerns, Saudi Arabia has regularly been in the headlines. But despite being nestled in a region rife with conflict and turmoil, it paradoxically stands unscathed by direct warfare. While its neighbors are always in conflict, Saudi Arabia is not. But why? Well, today on Across the Globe, we're going to try and answer that. The first factor lies in Saudi Arabia's geographical positioning, which significantly influences its defensive capabilities. Saudi Arabia's unique location serves as a crucial crossroads for trade routes and geopolitical interests in the region. By examining the topographical features and borders that define Saudi Arabia, we can better understand how its geography shapes national security strategies and influences its interactions with neighboring countries. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the largest country in the Arabian Peninsula. It occupies an area about the size of the United States east of the Mississippi River. With a population of over 37 million people, Saudi Arabia is a vast expanse of arid desert and rugged mountains, which right away presents a formidable barrier to any would-be invaders. It's strategically bordered by key bodies of water: the Red Sea to the west, which is approximately 2,250 kilometers long, and has been vital for trade and maritime routes since antiquity; the Persian Gulf to the east, which is essential for oil exports; and the Gulf of Aqaba lies between Saudi Arabia and the Sinai Peninsula of Egypt, providing significant access to international shipping lanes. With neighboring countries that enhance its geopolitical significance, this harsh terrain not only complicates military operations, but also demands significant logistical resources, making sustained invasions a daunting challenge. With its location so close to the Persian Gulf, the kingdom is located near one of the world's most critical choke points for oil shipments, holding the second-largest crude and oil reserve globally, estimated at around 266 billion barrels. This unique combination of natural defenses and strategic geography positions Saudi Arabia as a key player on the world stage. However, its diversity doesn't include an ample amount of water. Saudi Arabia's deserts define most of the country's geography, with vast expanses like the Rub' al-Khali, or the Empty Quarter, being the largest continuous sand desert in the world, at approximately 750 kilometers. These arid landscapes not only contribute to its extreme dryness, but also shape the nation's culture and history. The lack of surface water has made Saudi Arabia heavily reliant on alternative water sources, such as desalination plants, which produce about 50% of the country's drinking water. Saudi Arabia is actually one of the driest countries in the world. According to World Bank, the average annual rainfall in most parts of the country is below 150 millimeters throughout the year, except the southwestern part where the rainfall occurs between 400 and 600 millimeters annually. Additionally, the country has no permanent rivers and limited water resources due to overexploitation. While Saudi Arabia is stable, its neighbors face significant instability. Iraq, Yemen, Qatar, and Iran border Saudi Arabia, each grappling with their own conflicts and challenges. Internal strife, political tensions, and ongoing wars have characterized the environments of these neighboring countries more than in many other regions in the modern era. Despite the volatile situation around it, Saudi Arabia benefits from its geographical positioning and its efforts to maintain security and diplomatic relations, which help to insulate the kingdom from some of the chaos unfolding in the surrounding areas. Saudi Arabia likely wears a proud hat for continuously avoiding major conflicts and war, and it certainly seems to be on a path to keep doing so, which can be explained a little better by taking a step back in time. Historically, Saudi Arabia has favored indirect involvement in regional conflicts, such as those in Yemen and Syria, employing diplomacy and economic tools to assert its influence, while avoiding direct military confrontation. This strategy allows the kingdom to maintain a facade of stability and control while working through proxies and supporting allied factions, like in the Syrian civil war, when Saudi Arabia provided support to various rebel factions opposing the Assad regime. Saudi Arabia's intervention in the Yemeni civil war, which began in 2014, has been a complex and challenging endeavor, marked by significant humanitarian consequences and regional implications, with millions of Yemenis facing food insecurity, with estimates suggesting that over 16 million people are on the brink of famine. Access to clean water, healthcare, and basic services has been severely compromised also. In recent years, the kingdom has expressed a desire to remove itself from this conflict and adopt a more diplomatic approach. To that end, Saudi Arabia has engaged in negotiations with various Yemeni factions and sought to facilitate peace talks through international platforms, including the involvement of the United Nations. Saudi Arabia has unparalleled soft power through the Muslim world, which can help to ward off possible conflicts with other countries. This is especially true given its cultural and religious significance as the guardian of the holiest places in Islam, Mecca and Medina, because any action against Saudi Arabia could be interpreted as an insult to Islam itself. This religious authority promotes solidarity among Muslims worldwide. Consequently, the kingdom's unique position has historically discouraged nations from engaging in military conflict, as such actions might provoke widespread condemnation from the Muslim community, potentially igniting tensions beyond the immediate region. Furthermore, because many nations understand that upending the monarchy might cause a wider breakdown in Islamic alliances, Saudi Arabia's role in funding religious organizations and supporting Islamic projects worldwide further secures its dominance. In the end, this interaction of religious authority and cultural significance strengthens Saudi Arabia's standing in international affairs and increases its diplomatic clout by encouraging other countries to uphold the kingdom's security. Saudi Arabia holds a prominent position as the world's largest oil exporter, a status that has been integral to its economy and global influence for decades. It possesses approximately 17% of the world's proven petroleum reserves and is home to some of the largest oil reserves in the world, primarily concentrated in the vast Ghawar field, which is crucial to its production capacity. As a leading member of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, Saudi Arabia plays a pivotal role in determining global oil prices and managing supply levels, often using its production capabilities as a tool for geopolitical leverage. The revenue generated from oil exports underpins much of the country's infrastructure, social programs, and economic diversification efforts outlined in its Vision 2030 strategy, which aims to create a thriving economy where everyone has the opportunity to succeed. This reliance on oil not only supports Saudi Arabia's own economic growth, but also cements its position as a major force in the world's energy dynamics. Saudi Arabia's leadership in energy markets means that many countries, particularly those reliant on oil, become economically dependent on it. Seeing as Saudi Arabia is the world's leading oil exporter, this gives it great control over the supply and pricing of oil, which in turn has consequences on the rest of the world. The United States, China, and European Union countries also require oil for their transportation, industrial, and energy needs. Therefore, any alteration in the oil output or its pricing by Saudi Arabia can have a cascading effect on the world economy, including the inflation rates, trade deficits, and economic progress of the oil importing nations. While most countries scramble for oil like it's the last pair of a limited edition sneakers, Saudi Arabia has danced through the chaos like a seasoned diplomat, managing to sidestep full-blown battles even amidst the dramatic backdrop of the oil war with Iran. While this unsavory back and forth was marked by intense economic and political rivalry, it did not escalate into an actual war. The term often refers to the fierce competition for market share and regional influence, particularly during the 1980s and beyond, driven by differences in ideology, sectarian divides, and competing national interests. So, Saudi Arabia was lucky that this never turned into a situation like the Iraq invasion of Kuwait in 1990, which marked the beginning of the Gulf War. A major factor in preventing future crises and maintaining national security is Saudi Arabia's military might, which is among the top 5 strongest in the Middle East, alongside Turkey, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, and Jordan. As of 2024, Saudi Arabia's active personnel count stands at around 227,000, and its military strength is a result of several important elements. Firstly, Saudi Arabia consistently ranks among the highest spenders on defense globally. In recent years, its military budget has frequently exceeded $60 billion annually, often making it one of the top 5 countries for military expenditure. According to GM Defensive, Saudi Arabia's defense budget was approximately $78.4 billion for 2024, up from $69 billion in 2023. This massive sum, which is significantly higher than the world average of $14.63 billion, supports extensive procurement and advanced weaponry and maintenance of military bases. GM Defensive noted how the country's financial resources allow for significant investments in military technology. To put this into perspective so we can appreciate the sheer magnitude of this financial power, it's worthwhile looking at other countries' defense budgets. Despite being considered one of the top 5 in the Middle East, Jordan's military budget is approximately $2.5 billion, which is particularly stark when compared to Saudi Arabia's defense expenditures. Furthermore, many of Saudi Arabia's most advanced military weapons are supplied by the United States, an alliance that could alone deter countries from engaging in conflicts. The United States has constantly been Saudi Arabia's primary supplier of military hardware, training, and strategic support, beginning in the aftermath of World War II. This enduring coalition has been pivotal for the technological advancement and operational readiness of the kingdom's armed forces. Saudi Arabia has also exerted significant influence within the Arab League, presenting itself as one of the most ardent supporters of a united Arab world. Perhaps the best illustration is the Gulf War of 1990 to 1991, when Iraq's attempt to invade Kuwait not only posed a threat to the sovereignty of Kuwait, but also the whole Gulf region. To avoid further aggression from Iraq and protect its own borders, Saudi Arabia invited coalition forces, including American soldiers, marking the country's leadership in the region. In addition, Riyadh's involvement in the Arab League during the Arab Spring shows its intention to keep regional stability and strengthen its own influence by working with other member countries to resolve problems. These episodes illustrate the nature of Saudi Arabia's strategic partnerships, which have been useful in the enhancement of its security and continuity in the regional political space, thus within how coalitions work to protect self-interests and propel Arab interests. By acting this way, Saudi Arabia has made itself a center for security and negotiations in the Arab world. Additionally, the kingdom has aimed to build a coalition of regional partners to share the burden of military engagement and support the Yemeni government. In tandem, Saudi Arabia has also attempted to address the humanitarian crisis in Yemen by increasing aid to the Yemeni population and improving its image internationally, hoping to alleviate some of the pressures brought on by criticism of its military campaigns, such as significant civilian deaths and injuries due to airstrikes, leading to widespread condemnation from human rights organizations and international bodies. The kingdom's involvement in peace negotiations underscores its recognition that a military solution is increasingly untenable, and that a political settlement is essential for long-term stability. By investing in economic aid and development programs, as well as establishing strategic partnerships, Saudi Arabia has managed to strengthen its regional foothold without incurring the costs and repercussions associated with full-scale wars. This approach has bolstered its image as a responsible regional power, capable of navigating complex geopolitical landscapes without resorting to overt aggression. Saudi Arabia has therefore been able to exert considerable influence in the Middle East because of its careful balancing act of indirect participation, which has also strengthened its negotiating leverage internationally and established its position as a key actor in both regional security and or general international diplomacy. In essence, with its avoidance of war, Saudi Arabia has cultivated a unique brand of power that transcends traditional notions of military might. By leveraging its vast economic resources, diplomatic practicality, and strategic partnerships, the kingdom has created a delicate balance of influence that allows it to navigate the complexities of the Middle East with relative ease. As the region continues to evolve, Saudi Arabia's ability to adapt and navigate the shifting sands of geopolitics will be crucial to its survival. With a growing focus on economic diversification, cultural innovation, and regional cooperation, the kingdom seems poised to cement its position as a major player in the global arena. So, as it looks to the future, Saudi Arabia's enduring strength lies not just in its oil reserves or military capabilities, but in its capacity to balance competing interests, build alliances, and navigate the intricate web of regional politics, a skill set that will serve it well in an increasingly interconnected and unpredictable world. What about why nobody goes to war with North Korea?